Hey, party people, it's Cliff. Good morning. So, in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, Hollywood was majority white. And whenever they wanted to have you've heard of blackface before, right? And I think it's, if I remember from my Hollywood history class back in college, I think it's burnt cork or something like that. Or they burn it and it gets black, and then they put it on their face, and then they portray, black people. Back in those days, 100 years ago. Can you believe it's been 100 years since those days? And so, at the same time, there was the Industrial Revolution. There was a lot of just people, coming over to America, starting a new life, businesses, all of that stuff. And what was the driver of that? Money. Hollywood's not woke, it's a business. And I say that as the camera's like bouncing up and down, and hopefully the stabilizer is whatever, but whatever. And it's if Hollywood was not a business, it would not have survived, just like any other business, in the capitalistic society of America that we call it. And and like thinking back to those days, like you'll get when you're watching a lot of old cartoons like Mickey Mouse and like the Looney Tunes, probably pre 1940s, you still get a lot of you'll probably get movies that portray different races and religions and and people as not who they actually are. And so one of the things that you think about, like what people say today, or especially like Hollywood's woke. Hollywood is, they I guess that's the only thing. It's like you have the story and you have like the representation, and then you get movies that are big budget movies that people are all up in arms about XYZ. I mean, it even spans into video games. I remember that J.K. Rowling said something, said one sentence of one thing, and about, I can't even remember what it was, but the internet was up in arms. They were trying to boycott the video game that came out, and then just everybody just bought it anyway. And so you've heard the terminology, right? Like the squeaking wheel gets the oil. Well, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But essentially, if you say the squeaking wheel gets the oil, is that the most crazy, the most wild, the most dangerous, the most not normal voice on the internet is going to get the attention. And from that, you kind of have to look at it from a point of view this way, right? Hollywood is at the forefront of entertainment. It is, the studios spend big money. It's big money. It's money that no one person is in command or control of. In order to make money, in order to get you to spend $5. Like, I mean, think about it, right? Like, I remember we went and saw Project Hail Mary, great movie. Spent $25 to go see it in IMAX. Like, those guys spent, 200 million, probably another 50 million advertising it. They had a Comic-Con panel, which I actually went to. It was actually pretty cool. Andy Weir had to write a book. Ryan Gosling had to option that book. They had to go to all these investors and say, hey, look, we think this movie is great. We think this movie is everything. Do the whole round, sign all the contracts, hire the production crews. They had to build the sets. They had to, go through and, make sure they got all the things right. Then it pipes it out to all the, the VFX, studios and houses. And it's like an entire industry just for one movie. And just in the last month, there's been, 20 or 30 trailers that have come out, and you have all these different people. So Hollywood is trying to do something that is familiar, that you have not seen before. And that's like the classic act, right? I mean, look, we have Interstellar, we have Independence Day, we have E.T. Like, E.T. is basically the friendly alien, right? And then some other sci-fi greats like, Stargate and Farscape, Star Trek, aliens who are, great. I think, and so in order to make something like new, right? Because when you go to a movie and you're like, oh, like I've seen this movie before, right? It's a gangster movie, it's a cop movie, and sometimes that works. We call it procedural dramas, dramas like SVU, and actually just SVU. No, there's a couple other procedural dramas. Suits was one of them. A lot of them that were on USA Today. So there's even different types of forms of entertainment, but all of that stuff, right? The combination of new, familiar, the combination like spending, $200 million to get your $10 ticket at the movie theater. Maybe it's now $15 at the movie theater, whatever it is. Or to even pay for your cable subscription, or to pay for your Netflix subscription. Like, the studios will spend billions of dollars just to get a very, very small amount of money from you. And I think in this world, it's great because that's because in economics, it's, it's entertainment at scale, or mass scale, right? Like, you see one of those big container ships that are shipping a whole bunch of products over, it's not one person can get that, but if enough people get it, if enough people want to buy a product, then they put the stuff on the container ship, and they sail it over to the ports, except for the Strait of Hormuz right now. Hamas, I can't even say it. But jokes aside, Hollywood back in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s was, in a way, they made stuff that was racist. And at the time, audiences of the time watched those movies because audiences of the time still had those beliefs. And that's also a thing that Hollywood tries to do, is that it tries to match a story and an exciting thing with what people want to watch. And when folks say like Hollywood's woke and Hollywood's, it's catering to this audience or catering to that audience, I say Hollywood is a business, and Hollywood is just like this Prius that just passed me, is trying to get into the lane. He can go. No, Hollywood's a business, and Hollywood wants to if you boil it down, Hollywood makes content, it sells emotions, and it tries to get you to pay for it. They want to maximize the amount of people watching their stuff. They want to maximize the amount of money they get for spending on a project. Now, what does that say about the greater ecosystem about movies, right? If Hollywood's woke, and the stuff that they make is woke, then the mass majority of the audiences that people watch is also woke. Like, everyone is. If you think that you're anti-woke and you're going and you were like, raising your pitchforks and grabbing your axe, torches, that's what it is, not the axe. But if you think that Hollywood makes movies based on what audience sees, and so if you think that Hollywood is, for lack of a better term, like woke, then, or if it was not woke, let's just say that if Hollywood was not woke, then the majority of the entertainment industry would make stuff that was not woke. They'd make movies where the corporation won. They would make movies where, racism wins. They would make movies where, the little guy loses. And they don't make that. And they don't make that because people won't watch that. And Hollywood's not going to make something intentionally what people don't want to watch. So Hollywood is like, and the movies they make and the entertainment that we watch and the entertainment that we consume, it is a reflection of human culture in the state of which human culture is today. And that's the big thing, is that it's kind of like that scene in Batman and The Dark Knight. Or no, it was like in the animated series. It was like, all the villains didn't just be villains. Or what was it called? It was like Batman didn't exist before all these villains exist. The villains existed, and therefore Batman was a result of having to contend with all these villains who are doing bad. And that's my argument, is that, there's a Corvette. Oh, there's a guy who's almost cutting me off. But Hollywood's not woke. It's a business. It's trying to get as much money from you as possible. And some movies are rightfully so. Others are not rightfully so. And I think everybody's very passionate about putting their spin and wanting to, have a movie be good. Actors are under so much pressure to be very, very product conscious. And by product, it's like not only their reputation, but it's like the studios and the movies, and you can't let social media go too crazy. But yeah, at the end of the day, they want to make money just like anything else, and because they make money, or because their whole goal is to make money to continue to fuel and keep going forward and to make new movies, they're going to make movies that appeal to the widest possible audience. And if you're living in sort of a world where all the social media and entertainment and YouTube like feeds you this idea that Hollywood is woke, like there's an agenda behind those kind of news articles and those kind of folks. But I tell you, from a pure generalization standpoint, and being in Hollywood for 15 years, we want to make cool stories, yes. We want to do great things, yes. But at the end of the day, it's like we got to make money just like any other industry. Because if we don't make money, that's it. Business closes, just like every other thing in capitalism. So that's my 2 cents. And yeah, like it's like Hollywood's a lot of things. You can put some labels on it, but it'll be here after I'm gone. It'll be here after you're gone. In the Star Trek universe, like TV kind of went the way of the dinosaur in like the 2040s or 2045. And I can kind of see that, where entertainment is more personalized versus like mass. But at the same time, like there's always going to be that water cooler show. There's always going to be that water cooler movie. That one or two like great movies that come out that, that just breaks through and everybody likes, and it's all excited. Look, like I haven't even watched half the movies that come out last year, and there's already more movies coming out this year. So, that's one of those things where you just gotta, keep going, and doing the things, and hopefully, hopefully the movies that get made, and I guess the movies that get made now are like, they could be propaganda, which is, always, whenever there's a military movie and you get the U.S. military involved, it's a little bit propaganda-y, always. I think I was watching The Last Ship, and there was one where it was like, he's talking to the Russian commander, and he's like, this is an Arleigh Burke class destroyer. I'm like, you really need to say Arleigh Burke? Do you really need to say that? Like, it wouldn't be practical. Why is this guy going around me? It's like nothing. I don't know. And this little guy is going around me too. That's fine. That's fine. It's like, I hope those guys have a good day, and I hope you guys have a good day too. And you know, now we're stopped, and now both of them are in front of me, and it's one of those things. One of those things. Like, just let it happen. Anyways, hope you guys are good. Be safe out there, and until next time, keep on keeping on.